What's up, guys? It's your boy, the Bad Wolf, coming at you from the Wolf's Den. All right. So I want to thank everybody for supporting the channel and just let you know that we are doing fabulous. We are, let's see, about, where are we at now? 35,000 subscribers. We are a long way from when it was about 1,000 people. So once again, thank you for helping me build the channel and bring you guys this fire information. So we are going to continue to keep bringing you guys the good stuff. Can't stop, won't stop. So what's this particular video about? All right, so this particular video is about what is a writ and the different types. There are 5 main types of writs. At least the main ones. You can really create your own type of writ. But what is a writ? Okay, so we're just going to be reading some basic information here. So a writ is anything that is issued under authority. Okay, so anybody's authority. If you have the authority to govern your life or to say something, then you are an authority. Just like they're an authority of what's theirs, their employees, you are an authority of you and your life and your children or offspring. If you have, well, let's just say, proven that you are. Okay. So things such as orders, writs, warrants, directions, etc. are issued under the authority are examples of writs. Any person whose fundamental rights are violated can move to a higher court. Okay, under Article 226 of the Indian Constitution, that would apply to them, but for us, it is the Supreme Court under Article 32. Interesting number. And the court can issue directions or orders or writs. Thus, the power to issue a writ is primarily a provision made to make available the rights to constitutional remedies to every U.S. national. Okay? Remember, you were born as a national, but you also have a U.S. citizen side. You have both. Unless you're like me and you've renounced your U.S. citizenship and you're operating just as a national of the United States under the Constitution and of your own nation. Okay? So in addition to the above information, the Constitution also provides for the Parliament to confer on the Supreme Court power to issue writs for purposes other than those mentioned above. Similarly, high courts in India are also empowered to issue writs for the enforcement of any rights conferred by Part 3 for any other purpose. Okay? Okay, so the types of writs, there are actually 5 major types of writs, all right? So you've got what's known as a Habeas Corpus, a Mandamus, Prohibition, a Quo Warranto, and a satorari, okay? Each of them has a different meaning and a different implication. So in general, let's just start with a good breakdown of the writ of habeas corpus. Okay, habeas corpus writ is called the bulwark of individual liberty against arbitrary detention. Habeas corpus is a Latin term which literally means you may have the body or produce the body. This remedy is available in all cases of unlawful detention. Okay, which is a majority of what happens to us nationals in doing right to travel, and we're being violated. Okay, so this is a violation of your personal liberty. The writ is issued to produce the person physically who has been detained, whether in prison or in private custody before a court. The order then examines the reason for the detention, and if there is no legal justification for this detention, he can then be set free. Thus, the onus or proof is on the detainer, and the detainer must show proof of authority to do the same. A general rule of filing this petition is that a person whose right has been infringed upon must file a petition. But habeas corpus is an exception, and anybody on behalf of the detainee can file this petition. Habeas corpus writ is applicable to preventative detention also. This writ can be issued against both public authorities as well as individuals. All right, did you catch that? The person who's locked up, if they are locked up unlawfully for utilizing right to travel or whatever other things, for an example, that may be out there, you can file a habeas corpus on their behalf. All right. So, once again, I want to thank you guys. Obviously, you like this information and content, so feel free to hit that bell, like, subscribe. And if you guys see anybody using any of my materials or likeness inappropriately, using us as Boo Boo the Fool or, any other trash things that the trolls like to do out there, report them using that button over there. And every time you see it, hit them again, hit them again, hit them again. All right? If they're in violation, if they're just using information in good light criticism and not defaming me or anybody else, then so mote it be. Okay? All right. Such a writ can be issued in the following examples. When the person is detained and not produced before the magistrate within 24 hours. When the person is arrested without any violation of law. When a person is arrested under a law which is unconstitutional. When the detention is done to harm the person or is malified. Okay? So, for instance, case law Brown versus Vasquez, 952 F2D 1164. Okay? All right, a couple examples of some cases where this was done for people. I'm not going to read through all those right now. So we're going to the next one, the writ of Mandamus. Mandamus is a Latin word which means we. Okay, so we command. Mandamus is an order from the Supreme Court or higher court to a lower court or tribunal or public authority to perform a public or statutory duty. Okay, basically the higher court's saying, you got to do this. This writ of command is issued by the Supreme Court or high court when a government, court, corporation, or any public authority has to do a public duty but fails to do so. So, if they were supposed to do something and they failed to do something, this is where you want to use a writ of mandamus. It would seem that getting this to the Supreme Court and telling them, hey, this corporation, this company is doing this, this, and this, and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. Writ of mandamus. So the function of a mandamus is to keep the public authorities within the limits of their jurisdiction while exercising public functions. Mandamus can be issued to any kind of authority in respect of any type of function, administrative, legislative, quasi-judicial, meaning kind of judicial, but not really, so might as well not be, and judicial. Mandamus is called a wakening call, and it awakes the sleeping authorities to perform their duty. Mandamus thus demands activity and sets the authority in action. A petition for the writ of mandamus can be filed by any person who seeks a legal duty to be performed by a person or body, such as filing person must have a real or special interest in the subject matter and must have the legal right to do so. All right. A mandamus cannot be issued against the following: a private individual or private body. If the duty in question is discretionary and not mandatory, against president or governors of the state, against a working chief justice, to enforce some kind of private contract. Okay, you can check out case law, Bombay Municipality versus Advanced Builders, AIR, 1972, SE 793. Okay. Writ, next one is a writ of satorari. All right. Literally, satorari means to be certified. The writ of they spelled it wrong here. The writ of satorari can be issued by the Supreme Court or any high court for quashing the order already passed by an inferior court, tribunal, or quasi-judicial authority. These writs are designed to prevent the excess of power by public authorities and general remedies for the judicial control of both quasi-judicial administrative decisions affecting one's rights. A writ of satorari is corrective in nature, okay? The scope of this writ has been given in the case Hari Vishnu Kamath versus Ahmad Iraq, AIR 1955, SC 233. And for instance, when there's an error in jurisdiction, when the court has not given the proper time for both parties to be heard, or has violated principal issues of a natural justice. This writ is supervisory in nature, and thus the High Court cannot review the findings of the lower courts if the error is evident. Okay, so we're going to jump down to the writ of prohibition. The writ of prohibition means to forbid or to stop, and is primarily known as a stay order. This writ is issued when a lower court or a body tries to transgress the limits or power vested in it. The writ of prohibition is issued by any high court or Supreme Court to an inferior court or to quash quasi-judicial body prohibiting the latter from containing the proceedings in a particular case where it has no jurisdiction to try. After the issue of this writ, proceedings in the lower court, etc., come to a stop. A writ of prohibition is normally issued when inferior courts or tribunal proceed to act without jurisdiction or in excess of its jurisdiction, proceeds to act in violation of rules of natural justice, or proceeds to act under the law which it itself ultra vires or is unconstitutional, or proceeds to act in a contravention of fundamental rights. Okay. A writ of quo warranto. Okay, so the word quo warranto literally means by what warrants, or what is your authority? Straight out. Okay, it is the writ which is issued directing that subordinate authorities to show under what authority they are holding the office if a person has usurped a public office. The court may direct him not to carry out any activities in the office or may announce the office to be vacant. Thus, High Court may issue a writ of warranto if a person holds an office beyond his retirement age. So age is a factor. Judge a little too old? Somebody a little too old? The writ cannot be issued to a person working in a private field. This writ is issued to a person in a public office, the legality of which is being questioned. In the case of Anand Bihari versus Ram Shahai, AIR 1952, the court held that the office in question must necessarily be one of which is public. The conditions to issue a quo warranto: the office must be public and it must be created by a statute or by Constitution itself. The office must be substantive, one, and not merely the function or employment of a servant at the will and during the pleasure of another. There must be a contravention of the Constitution or a statute or statutory instrument in appointing such person of that office. Okay? So those are your 5. Quick breakdown. Habeas corpus is to release a person who has been detained unlawfully, whether in prison or in private custody. Mandamus, to secure the performance of the public duties by a lower court, tribunal, or public authority. Satorari, to quash an order already passed. Prohibition, to prohibit an inferior court from continuing the proceedings in a particular case. And quo warranto, to resign a person from holding a public office which he is not entitled to. All right. So how to file a writ in the Supreme Court. For the purposes of filing a writ in the petition and to petition the Supreme Court under Article 32, a format for the writ petition is provided by the Supreme Court, which must be followed. The following documents need to be attached to the writ: an affidavit by the petitioner, 1 plus 5 copies, or a total of 6, of the writ petition. It also will include a prescribed cover page, an index, and may be required as well as to have a memo of appearance for which fees are to be paid. For the format of this, let's see. All right, I'll check that out in 1 second. Well, let's just go there now. All right. Apparently that link is not working. All right. See if I can bypass it. Nope. All right. So just have to go to Supreme Court and get the format for the writ of petition there. The same procedure can be used to file a case in the High Court. The format for writ petition will be available on the concerned High Court's website. Blah, 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 blah. All right. So you can type in how to file a writ with the Supreme Court, or search Supreme Court and then look for their samples of a writ and how they want it to be submitted. So that's basically about it, guys. The Bad Wolf, once again, bringing you guys some information. I know a lot of people have been asking me in the private about that. And let's just say we've been launching those bad boys, and they are doing their business. I like to keep a majority of the things that we do like that in the private. Because remember, all these things are our public platform, so we're providing public information. And once again, this is all educational information from your favorite entertainer, and non-belligerent and non-combatant, Mr. Bad Wolf himself. So that's about it, guys. If you found this information to be interesting and entertaining, please hit that bell, like, and subscribe. Get notified when we're doing lives. Don't forget to check me out on blacksite32.com. And we're also on Patreon under James C. Lovett. And you can also go to my other YouTube channel where I'll be talking more casual about the various crazy things that happen behind the scenes, places I go, things I've learned, everything from aliens to ancient technology, and we'll make some theories on the pyramids and all kind of wild stuff. So check me out over there on the Bad Wolf Media channel. I should be able to get that handle soon, and you'll be able to type that in. Otherwise, just do a search on YouTube and you'll find me there. So that's about it, guys. Hope you found this entertaining. I'll talk to you later. Bad Wolf's out.